Hey y'all, welcome to my shop. Today we're going to turn a little men's change bowl, about 6 inches across, 2 inches thick, fairly flat bottom, so it'll be very stable. It's going to be thick, not real thin, maybe 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch thick, and we're going to put a little texturing on it to give it a little style. But we're going to curve the inside, makes it easy to scoop out change. It makes a great little gift for a man to put on his a dresser for change keys or his wallet on. I'm going to take the blank now and drill a 5/16 inch hole in the center that we marked with the template, and that's for my woodworm screw on my Nova chuck. So we're going to mount this with a woodworm screw that comes with my Nova G3 chuck. I pull it forward, tighten it on both sides. I like to put just a little bit of candle wax, make it easier to get it off. This is a very dried piece of dogwood. Put my spindle lock on so I can use both hands. This is a woodworm screw is a very secure way of mounting a very small bowl blank, say blocks less than 8 inches in diameter. You can't orient the grain very much, but if it's a very plain wood, it works very well. Even though it's firmly fastened, I like to bring up tailstock support just as an extra measure. I'm going to set my tool rest at appropriate height so I can cut on center. And I'm going to go ahead and round it by cutting off this side. Now that I've got some of the corner off, I'm going to go ahead and readjust my tool rest. Always rotate for clearance. Now we're going to prepare the tenon for my 50mm jaws. We're going to clean off the back, mark the tenon, and then cut it. Little technique that generally works for my jaws. That sets it about 49mm. My jaws are not a dovetail, but I want to make sure they're parallel, and I've got a nice clean shoulder for the jaws to sit on, slightly concave in, but absolutely parallel with a very clean corner. Now, because I want a very flat, stable bottom, we're not going to bring the cut from here. We're going to keep it fairly wide. I do need to get rid of that bark, so I'm going to reshape it a little bit. Okay, got rid of the bark. Now all I need to do is refine the shape a little bit. I'm using a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. Okay, we're going to change the view a little bit, make it a little easier to see what I'm doing. Okay, using a repurposed old Harbor Freight skew for a shear scraper, I'm going to scrape that side. And I've got a nice surface on that. A little bit of a bump right there, but I'm working on that. Time to turn it around. can be tough to remove. That's why we put that wax. I should have rounded over that area. Reduce chances of me cutting myself on that sharp edge. Release the woodworm screw. If we cut that shoulder properly, you shouldn't be able to get a piece of paper in between the wall, the rear of your piece and the front of the jaws, and I think we've done well on that. Now, because of the shape of this as a change bowl, I'm going to take off this edge and cut it back to about here. And slope it down. Soften that edge just a little bit. I think I want to bring that back a little bit more. We're going to use a pull cut. Actually, that's a shear scrape there. Switch to. Now we've got a partial hole. I like to use a depth drill, so I've got a couple of marks cut in my hand drill, so I know I want it a little bit past here, between here and here. So I know when we got it down to that area, when it hit the bottom of the hole, we're where we need to be. So let's move the tailstock live center. Now, because I have a Powermatic with a sliding headstock, I'm going to take advantage of that for ergonomics. So let me move that into place and turn from the end. First thing I'm going to do is kind of sweep off the shavings to make it easier to slide the tailstock and headstock, the headstock and the banjo out of the way. I'm going to move my tool rest and then come back. And I just line up the end of my bench, then roll it out of the way. Move the banjo down. Move my dust collection hood down. Release the headstock lock. it down, relock it. Now I'm ready to turn from the end. Now we're ready to turn from the end of the lathe. Cutting from the center out. Cutting from the center out. Raise that tool rest just a bit. So I'm cutting on the center. Enter the cut with that bevel almost perpendicular to the wood. Get started. Speed the lathe up a little bit. Fairly smooth, got a little bit of a ripple. I think I want to take a pass with a scraper. But because the scraper burr only lasts about 30 seconds, and this is not real, this is really sorry Chinese high-speed steel, I need to resharpen this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of some of these ripples, try to get a little smoother cut with this scraper. It's a negative rake, which means I'll use it parallel to the floor. I'll raise it just a hair. Get a little more table, a little more support. Lock the banjo down. Now I'm going to use this spear point scraper with the top. Still got a pencil mark here, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape that off. Just touch that. Now all that remains is to sand this and maybe put just a little bit of put a little bit of texturing detail in here. I've got a little bit of a ridge here. I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to put a detail there. I'm going to put a bead there. switch to a smaller gouge. So I've got a nice detail. I'll smooth that up in a moment. With a spindle gouge. Touch that up with a little bit of sandpaper before I go in there to texture that. I've got a little bit of torn grain. I think I'm going to use that scraper again, coming right into the edge. Out of the way. I'm going to touch this up with a little bit of brush it with 120. Down a little bit. Alright, now I could spiral it or texture it. In this case I think I'm going to take the simplest solution, which is texturing. So I'm going to use my Sorby texturing system mounted on a different handle. That texturing is one where it comes to a point as opposed to a flat. And I'm going to come across like this at about 500. Anchor. Kind of result we're getting. Got a nice little texture. One more pass. And I think I want to put a little bit of a V-groove right here to kind of border that. We're going to use my V tool or point tool and come in there and put just a little bit of a V groove there. Again, this is a negative rake scraper, and with that flat surface down, it's going to be just about parallel with the floor. Flat surface on top. And there we have it. Makes it pop a little bit. I think I'm actually going to go back in and just catch that border. Since I haven't gone all the way to the edge, actually I think I'm going to put another band right there. Scrape just a little bit here. Get rid of any texturing I've done up to the edge. And there we've got it, a shallow bowl. Slight rise here in the corner where you scoop it up into our hands, and I like it. I think that's good. I'm going to sand the inside, reverse it, finish the bottom, and we'll be done. Alright. How smooth is it, Poet?
Really smooth.
Okay, thank you. my vacuum chuck on. Now we're going to take off the tenon and flatten the bottom and concave it just a little bit. Okay, my memory card was full before I was able to finish, but so here's the back. We put a little texturing on the bottom with a knurling tool, and I put my name on it, and that's it. Until next time.
Wow.